right. So I'm here with Kelly Malloy, and I'm Steve Seymour with the Vanguard Realty Alliance Agent Highlight Podcast. So, Kelly, thanks for coming out today on this rainy Friday.
Yes, thank you for having me.
How are you doing?
I'm good.
Good.
Today's a good day.
All right. So we'll hop right into it. I usually ask, what got you into real estate? What got you started?
So it's kind of a long story, so I will shorten it to the best of my ability. But I was always in more of either like marketing or support roles. Obviously just supporting people who had more important jobs than I did. And, I was always kind of like in the background and it was a lot of admin work, and I would be, behind the scenes at the office. And the last time I had a job like that was for a real estate team. And I was just kind of seeing people kind of come in and out as, their schedule allowed. And a lot of them happened to be like me. They were social. They liked to be around people, and they got to utilize that. So I would see people, and I was, sitting at my desk job thinking like, wait, I kind of like that schedule. I like the idea of what they're doing, and I think I could do it too. So I was basically, to answer your question, I was around the industry for about a year.
In the back office.
In the back office, just kind of learning the ins and outs, doing a lot of marketing for them, and also a lot of admin work. So like,
and you saw these agents making their own schedule and just living their life, and you're like, oh, I could do that.
Yes, and that was obviously before I knew, a lot of the stress that goes into it. I did just, it was slightly glorified because I only saw a tiny little piece of it, but what I did see, I really liked. And I thought that above all else, I thought that me as a person would be best in that kind of role, like in the field, helping people, being out there kind of role. So that's what I did.
Definitely see that in you.
Yeah. Thank you.
So once you got started, what was it, what was it like? What were some of the challenges you faced and some of the successes you had?
Right. So when I first started, I think like any agent, when you first start, the biggest challenge is just getting clients, right? Like a lot of us, and of course, learning like the ins and outs and learning the contracts and the process of everything. Obviously, that's super important. But again, just being given the opportunity to do that for somebody, a lot of people aren't like, oh, you've never helped somebody buy a house before. Like, I'm going to trust you, So you kind of have to fake it till you make it a little bit. But when I first started, I was very fortunate in the sense that I had quite a few clients pretty early. I kind of learned
What do you attribute that to?
So it was a couple things. I did work on a team when I first started, and I think that for me, I think that helped kind of shape a lot of things, but also gave me the opportunity to be around more people because they had, an excess of leads. And a lot of these people that I ended up with were people that I hate to say this, but people that, maybe other people didn't want to work with. And I did not care. It
gave you that experience.
It gave me that experience.
Early on, you got to get busy.
So that, and also I had another very good friend that was in the business on the lending side. And so we just realized, us both being, brand new in the business, we could really help each other. And so it was one of those beneficial relationships where like if I came upon someone, I would send them, his way. If he had somebody, he would send them my way. And if it worked, it worked.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it was those two things, really working leads from a team that I was on was huge, finding other connections, like beneficial connections in the industry. It doesn't have to be other agents. It can be, a lender or an insurance person or something. Just forming those relationships are really big.
So can you talk more about that? Like how have you formed those relationships? And, just really, I believe big time real estate. I think the beautiful thing about it is it's still a relationship business.
Oh, it is.
And there's a lot of people that try to say, oh, it's, it's shifting and this, but there's still some fundamentals that ring true.
Yes. That's why I think it'll always be a relationship. That's why I don't think, Zillow or big robots are going to come and like take our industry. Like people want to work face to face with people that they like, know, and trust.
Yep.
Or they know people that like, know, and trust this agent, so they want to work with them. But anyway, so back to that. Are you asking how did I form those relationships, or like what does that look like?
Yeah, How did it impact your business?
Oh, so I would say, I don't know if I can put it to 50%, but it's somewhere close.
Yeah.
Of all of my business has been from referrals from people in the industry. So for me, that's a huge one.
Yeah.
I just formed good relationships with, and it's been mostly lenders. I would just, a lot of times, you know, the lenders want to meet new agents to get that type of relationship, right? That's the benefit. But I just happened to come across lenders that were able to give stuff back to me.
Yeah.
And I think that it's important if you do, because us as agents, we get asked to go to lunch or other things like that by mortgage lenders all the time. And I do think it's appropriate to ask, like, what can, you know, I, you know, would love to, if they're a good, you know, mortgage lender and you know that, of course you want to give them your business, but also what's the benefit back?
Right.
You know?
And with that relationship, you know, focused on your, I would say your business is relationship focused,
Yes.
right? So you're talking about from leads coming in, but then also how does that relay with your clients? Because I know you've become friends with some of your clients, and
Yes.
we've talked before about just the relationship building that takes place in your business.
Right. Like, how is that with my clients?
Yeah. Why don't you share like you know, you don't have to share names, but share
Right.
some stories about like how things have unfolded.
Sure. So, yeah, one of the benefits, honestly, so I work not primarily, but a lot with first-time home buyers. So a lot of times, I mean, they look to me to guide them through one of the biggest purchases of their life thus far. You know, so to me, that's, you know, first of all, like a big honor, but also through that, you do form like a really good bond and relationship going through that with somebody. And a lot of my clients, and not just my first time, you know, homeowner clients, but a lot of my clients, I have, you know, had dinner with them afterwards. I've met them out, you know, in town. I've gone and visited them after they had children. Like, it's just a lot of my clients have turned into good friends.
And one of the things I've seen with you is that you really care about your clients, like as people, not just leads. And really what I was, you know, asking, just because I feel like I've seen that time and time again when I've talked to you. You call me with a question about a deal, and it's like, I'm like, calm down.
Right.
It's going to be okay.
I take it to heart.
And it's because you care so much.
Yes.
And like, it's great that you care, but let's step back and look at this. And I think it's a great thing.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to highlight that in this video because, you know, really a lot of people choose different agents for different reasons, right? And not everyone has the same, you know, values. And I just see how much you value the person in the relationship. So
yeah, thank you. That is really important to me. And sometimes I get a little bit too involved in what's going on. It's hard for me to put work down once I get home. But that's not what I signed up for.
Yeah.
You know, I definitely, this job, and I know there's a lot of people that talk about having boundaries with this job. And while I agree wholeheartedly, there is someone else on the other end of that phone that could be having a panic attack, or they might be really anxious or upset about something. And that's when I have to step in.
Yeah.
You know, I have to make sure everything is good. I can't fix everything, but I will try my damn hardest, you know? So
I really get that commitment to excellence, you know, where you're just committed to doing the best possible job you can and really get it over the finish line, kind of whatever it takes.
I never want somebody to look back and be like, oh, I wish I'd worked with somebody else. You know, I always want them to be like, wow, I chose the best agent, you know? And that's my goal. And not because of me, because of them. I want them to have a genuinely good experience.
Your reviews speak to that, right?
Thank you. Yeah.
So I've seen them, and it's just, when you read the reviews that you have, it's unbelievable.
Yeah. And that's the one thing I ask from them. You know, I'm like, please give me, you know, I just ask them, please give me a review. And sometimes I'll forget and they still do it. That shows me, some feedback. And that shows me because, you know, I don't know who else watching this or listening to this has to ask people for reviews, but it doesn't always happen, or that review doesn't always get captured. But when people feel compelled to write about their experience, it feels good.
Yeah, I've seen when you know, take on a client, like even just our, we had a company referral that we sent you recently, and it's just your commitment to helping them get to their goal, right? And really putting them first, building the relationship, making sure it's an amazing process.
Right. Yeah. Thank you. That's what I strive for. I want people to feel like I've got this. Like they are going to be stressed at some point throughout the process, but I want them, I want to take some of that stress and I want them to trust in me completely because I will work my hardest for whoever I'm working with, no matter what. So,
yeah. So if, if you were to say like, what are some of the things that you operate from in your business other than what we discussed about, I'm talking big picture, like core values of what's important to you.
I think the biggest one is just having integrity.
And what does that mean for you?
For me, that means do everything with good intent. Don't lie.
Yeah.
Don't say you're going to do something and not do it. Like if you tell your clients you're going to do X, Y, and Z, do X, Y, and Z. As on the other side as a listing agent, right? I've had a lot of times where I am not sure if somebody's telling me the truth or not, whether it has to do with offers or something else like that with this market that is.
Yeah, there's a lot of deceit in our industry.
There's been a lot of things, right, that I'm just not sure where other people are coming from. And I think that this market has brought out maybe not the worst, but some traits that are uncharacteristic of someone in another.
It's competitive, and certain people put commission before people.
Exactly. So that's where, and when I talk about integrity, you actually just summed it up perfectly. Like I always want to put the people before the paycheck.
Yeah. Yeah, that's key.
Yeah. That's the biggest thing for me.
Yeah, it comes from that commitment to caring about them, and it's like treating them how you'd want to be treated.
It's a business based on.
That's why I always feel
people.
confident referring you business.
Thank you, I appreciate that. Yeah, it's a business based on people, and honestly, you're only doing yourself as an agent a disservice if you don't do the best job, because referral business is powerful. Imagine I have a client and I did a good job for them, and they tell somebody else about me. Well, that person more than likely is going to call me and not think twice.
Yeah.
Not think to call somebody else or do interviews for other agents. Just like, I know and trust this person and they recommended you. So chances are you're going to get that.
They have that confidence already instilled in them.
Exactly.
Because it came from a trusted referral source.
Exactly. And so that's so powerful to me that my, my future, it comes from doing a good job right now. So that's what I try and remember all the time. And
you do.
Yeah. From what I've seen, I work really, really hard. Whatever my client's goal is, I kind of, and this might be a bad thing for my personal life, but I kind of internalize it and I make it my goal, whatever that is.
That's a true fiduciary.
Yeah.
Right?
Exactly.
Working in their best interest.
Above and beyond. Yeah. Yes. But in their best interest always. Well, why should they work with me? I think just because I do a good job, I don't stop until my clients are satisfied and find what they're looking for.
Yep.
Yeah.
Simple as that.
I tap into all my resources if need be. And that's another benefit of being in the industry for a couple of years. It's like you learn who's best for everything. I have past clients who will text me like, hey, I need an HVAC guy, this, that, or the other. And like, boom, I got this guy, that guy. You just become this wealth of knowledge beyond real estate. So
anything else anyone should know about you?
About me?
About Kelly?
That's a good question. It's actually a really good question because I feel like since I've gotten into real estate, it's like taken over my being. But me personally, I live at home with my daughter and my dog and my cat, right in the town of Media. And I don't know, I love walking around Media, eating good food. I like eating. I think that I go out at least like 3 or 4 times a week.
I like eating too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Love to eat. Sustenance. But I think I go out to eat like 3 or 4 times a week.
So you eat and do real estate.
I eat and do real estate. Actually, that just brought up, I used to do a little bit of like, so silly, knitting and sewing back in the day. And every once in a while, we, get a new pair of knitting needles and some yarn and make like a scarf. But recently I went big and we bought a sewing machine.
There you go.
So I think there's going to be some sewing going on.
All right.
So, so that's like a little hobby. I do realize how important it is to have a hobby, you know, to decompress, whatever that means, and not just by watching TV, which is what I would, you know, default to, because that's honestly one of my favorite downtimes, but to have a genuine hobby that's productive. So
something that you love doing that takes you out of this real estate world.
Yeah, exactly.
So, Kelly, if anyone wanted to work with you, what's the best way for them to reach out to you?
So I'm pretty much.
Are you on Instagram?
Yes.
Cell phone?
Yes.
Email?
I was gonna say I'm glued to my phone, so text or call is always great. Email. We have my info.
Yeah, we can have your info below.
Okay. I was gonna say I would shout it out, but I think it'd be better if it was like
shout out your Instagram, and then we'll
okay.
We'll
My
post.
Instagram handle is my first and last name, Kelly Malloy 29.
All right. Well, we appreciate you being on.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
All right, thanks.
All right, thanks.
Bye.